Hey everybody, in today's video we're going to talk about silver. I've done several videos, as have many others in this YouTube space, about what type of silver that we feel you should stack. Well, today's video is going to be a little different. Instead, I'm flipping the switch and I'm going to talk about silver that I don't recommend that anybody should stack. And I'll go over my reasons why in today's video coming up. So be sure to stick around. So for those of you who have followed me, or at least watched my channel, you probably know this about me. I am personally all in on silver. I'm a big-time silver stacker. I'm a big believer in this metal, in silver. Now, I'd be lying if I said I love all types of silver for stacking, because that is 100% categorically untrue. There are some specific types of silver that I would not recommend anybody stack, but obviously people do. Because I buy countless collections and estates, hoards, call them what you want, from the public on a daily basis here at Minot Coin Bullion. So we end up with a lot of different types of coins, currency, tokens, and gold and silver items. So in today's video, I thought it'd be beneficial for everybody to talk about the type of silver I recommend you do not stack. And I'll outline the reasons here. So first off, this is stuff I would recommend you stack. Now, I didn't put a bunch of different things out here. I quickly filled a tray with, in my mind, acceptable silver to stack. It includes government-issued coins, like this 10-ounce Australian koala. Here's an American silver eagle, some Canadian silver coins. All good things to stack, in my opinion, because, number one, they're recognizable. Number two, they have the purity and the weight stamped on them. That's key here. They have the purity and weight stamped on the individual item. And I'm not going to spend any more time on this tray here, but I would also include bars of all sizes, 90% silver coinage, even though that doesn't have the purity and weight stamped on it. For American, half dollars, dimes, and quarters, it's real easy to know that they're made of 90% silver by weight. So I do recommend you stack those as well. But let's slide this tray out of the way and let's talk about some of the kinds of things I get in the shop that are indeed silver, that I will purchase, but they're very difficult for me to resell, and I'll tell you why. Take this piece, for instance, here. This is a Cook Islands coin made in the imagery of the peace dollar on one side, the Morgan dollar on the other side. This is silver, but it has no markings indicating that it's silver and no indication of its weight. This is actually about 0.86 ounces of silver, and it's 0.999 silver, but you have to have a machine and a scale to come up with those numbers. It's not stamped anywhere on the coin. So I recommend do not buy these pieces because it's very difficult to resell these. Granted, I had the equipment to make those verifications, so that's why I did purchase this for the individual. I'll be honest, I was spring cleaning at the shop today and I had a bin of odd silver stuff that unfortunately is probably going to go to the refinery to get melted because it's very difficult to sell it on the retail basis. So I thought I would educate the public just so you don't fall into the trap of buying stuff like this and then getting stuck because you want to sell it and nobody will buy it from you. So that's just one example. Here's some others. This is a similar piece. It's the Morgan dollar front and back on both sides. This is also 0.6 ounces, or I'm sorry, 0.86 ounces of 999 silver. The Cook Islands puts this monstrosity out, but there's no markings on it. So, and I have a feeling these were marketed to people at very high prices. So people probably paid well over silver value to acquire these pieces, and they're not marked anywhere. Very difficult to resell. Here's another odd piece. Rather than say Abraham Lincoln, this says Abramo Lincoln, but this is actually a 1/2 ounce silver coin. Now this does have the weight on it, or the purity I should say. It says lay 9999, but it does not contain the weight. This is from Equatorial New Guinea, or Equatorial Republic of Guinea. So it's an actual coin featuring Abramo Lincoln. I don't know if that's Abraham in their language. Somebody in the comments can let me know, but Very, very weird. When these pieces first came in, I had no idea what they were, but I did the testing. There again, these are a ½ ounce of 999 silver, actually 4 nines, but it doesn't have the weight on here anywhere. In my mind, these are very difficult to sell. I actually did put some of these out to try to sell because they do have the purity on them as stated right there. Nobody wants to buy them because they don't have the weight. And who the heck is Abramo Lincoln? Very, very weird. But I don't recommend buying pieces like that, much like a piece like this. Now, if you're buying as a collector, great. These are perfectly fine. If you're buying these pieces as a stacker, I do not recommend these. This is a sterling silver coin, a $2 coin from 1972, featuring a couple of flamingos, from the Commonwealth of the Bahama Islands. Got Queen Elizabeth II on the back. No markings. This is an actual coin. It is sterling silver, so 0.925 sterling, and I think it's 0.85 ounces, something like that. I took it out of the holder for the video. But if you're buying this to stack and you want to liquidate this, not to a coin shop, just to an individual, good luck. It's going to be difficult versus having a piece of silver bullion, you know, about the same size, right? This is 999 pure. It's got the purity and the weight marked on it. Much more easily marketable, much more easily liquid. So granted, I just got done saying, obviously, I bought this from somebody that brought it into my shop too, but only because I had the equipment to verify its purity and a proper scale to weigh it and assess how much silver is actually here. So this is not a good thing to buy if you're a stacker, okay? You can see some other things on the tray here. Maybe I'll talk about this quickly. Sterling silver jewelry. I do buy this from the public. I send this off to melt. I do not resell it typically, but I never recommend buying jewelry as an investment in the metal. Jewelry stores typically mark up jewelry at least double, sometimes 500, 600, 700% of its metal value on a retail basis. So don't ever think you're going to go to a jewelry store, at least in today's market, and buy a gold chain and then bring it to a shop like mine or a pawn shop and flip it and make money. Even if it's on sale, even if it's 50% off, you're still probably paying 2, 3, 4 times more than the metal itself is worth. So as an investment for stackers, jewelry is not good. And I'm just talking about silver in this video, but I mentioned gold as well. Not a good thing to stack if you're paying retail prices from jewelry stores. I'll talk about this piece lastly, I think. Now, there was a company that produced these bars for every state in our union. They took out full-page ads in major newspapers in every major city throughout these different states, touting and talking about these 999 fine silver bars, limited quantity available, exclusively for citizens, in this case, in North Dakota. They did it for all 50 states. There is a purity on here of 999 fine silver. The advertisements were incredibly, incredibly misleading, making people believe that they're getting an ounce of silver, because many times in the ad they talked about the spot price of an ounce of silver. Well, many people bought these hook, line, and sinker. You know, they probably offered a strict limit of X. I think it was maybe, let's just say it was 50. You know, limited to 50 per person and exclusive for only citizens of your state. Well, a lot of people bought these, paid about double spot price, only to find out that these are ½ silver pieces, meaning they paid 4 times more than they should have. Inevitably, pieces like this get sold back to my shop. Of course, there again, I had the equipment where I could verify that these indeed were 999 fine silver, but they're only a ½ ounce. The problem is with me trying to resell these, nowhere on these bars does it say that they are just a ½ of an ounce. So there again, from a liquidity standpoint for the average person, it's going to be very, very difficult to resell these. So I recommend staying away from things like that if you're gonna stack. I decided to do this video today because I feel it's so important that people understand that. Even though I just said I obviously bought all of this stuff from the public, but not every coin shop has a precious metal verifier. You know, if I know of 3 in my state that do. 3 coin shops in all of North Dakota have a precious metal verifier where they could put this on a machine and scan it and have it tell them that this indeed is silver. None of the other ones do. So I can almost guarantee you they would not touch this with a 10-foot pole. They would say, no thanks, we're not interested. So it can be very difficult to liquidate in a time of need if you don't have, as I showed on the first tray here, recognizable silver. And even privately minted silver rounds are recognizable. You know, the more years I'm in this hobby and industry, I think to myself, boy, I've seen thousands probably designs of different privately minted silver rounds. How can you verify, you know, if they're real? Well, first of all, there's a whole different video, but silver has a certain sound, right? And I obviously just got done saying I have the equipment where I can verify these pieces as they come into the shop. But still, you know, just this week, here's 2 silver round designs that I'd never seen before. Ever. 2 different designs. So even though there's thousands, maybe tens of thousands different designs of silver rounds, I truly believe you're so much better off buying those than buying unmarked silver if you ever think you're going to have to trade it or sell it, because it's going to be so much easier for liquidity purposes to have stuff like this. So to recap, stay away from this stuff. Consider buying this instead. Drop it down in the comments if you buy stuff like this for your own stack, and let me know why. I'm just curious. I don't personally like having it, but I think most stacks have oddball silver in it. Whether or not we meant to buy it, maybe it was a gift, maybe it was so cheap you couldn't resist. But boy, I think all of us probably have oddball stuff like this, but as I said, it's very difficult in the end to liquidate in most circumstances because of the inability to verify its weight and content, because it's not stamped on any of these coins. So I, for one, prefer this stuff. It's my go-to. Let me know in the comments if you learned anything in today's video. And if you could be so kind, please consider subscribing. We're working hard to continue to grow the channel to get this information out to more people, as our goal primarily is to educate. But we appreciate you all for tuning in. Oh, one more thing. Our website now at Minot Coin Bullion is live. You can visit www.minotcoinandbullion.com to check out all the different bullion-related items we have for sale on our website. We have over 50 items listed right now, and we're slowly adding more items as we get things organized for that. So be sure to check that out. It's a real seamless and easy way to browse our inventory and our prices as well. And I think you'll find that we're quite competitive with our retail pricing. But I appreciate that. If you're on Facebook, consider checking out our Facebook page, Minot Coin and Bullion on Facebook, where we post updates with new products. We also post links to our YouTube videos, our business hours, sale items, and cool things that trickle into the shop. You kind of get a first preview if you're following our Facebook page as well. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for taking the time to watch today. You have a great day.